Hi, everybody. Happy week to you. It's Kim Bergen-Jackson, administrator at Oaknoll, and I'm coming to you for our weekly update. I'm recording on February 21st, which is a Wednesday. Happy Hump Day, to be shown on Thursday, February 22nd. We are about a week away from the end of February already, and it's a leap year, so you should do something fun next week on the 29th of February. I was thinking about that today, and I'm really glad my birthday is not the 29th of February, because I'd only be like 5 or something. I can't do the math. But anyway, if you're a leap year baby, I want to hear stories about your birthday party. Did you have a birthday party every year, but it wasn't on your birthday? Or did you just have a birthday party every 4 years? That's just a dumb thing to talk about today to kick off the video. The COVID update is pretty minimal. I would say that we have, to my knowledge, 4 residents in independent living currently getting through COVID. They are different stages of their isolation, between 7 and 10 days. They are all mildly symptomatic, I would say, and recovering quite well. Some are taking the antiviral medications and some are not. That's really up to you and your provider. I'm really hopeful that we're going to see this sort of die down for the spring and summer, and that this COVID problem becomes a seasonal problem with influenza. That's what my fingers are crossed for. We don't have any staff out right now with COVID, which is great. I would encourage you to continue to make choices about how safe you feel in the community. If you feel vulnerable to respiratory infections, if you have a respiratory condition that would contribute to you struggling with a respiratory infection, you might consider masking. Just pay attention to your body and your symptoms and how you're feeling. And if you feel symptomatic, maybe self-isolate for a couple days and see how it goes. I don't know, we're all learning how to live with this virus. And I think the good news is our bodies are learning to live with it too. So I've seen a decrease in hospitalizations across the state. I don't look at national data anymore because it's all so inconsistent with the different states. But in the state of Iowa, it looks like hospitalizations are down overall, and emergency room visits and urgent care visits are down. So that's all an indication to me that people don't feel sick enough to go in and be seen, which is great. We're still doing programs and we're doing everything normal here. We are still unmasked in all levels of care, which it's so encouraging to see everybody's faces. Of course, if we have signs that there's an increase in COVID in our licensed areas, we will put the masks right back on. But I'm really crossing my fingers that we don't have to put them back on until winter. Then we'll figure out how do we move forward with this illness as we see it, continue to evolve over the next year. As I told you last time I recorded, we're just about to hit our 4th anniversary of COVID, which feels like a long, long time, and it feels like just yesterday. So it's very strange to me about the last 4 years that we've experienced. So I'm glad that we've learned how to make do and make accommodations and use mitigation strategies. We've all become public health officials in 4 years, haven't we? Who knew we were going to be good? Oaknoll would be good at a COVID pandemic. I didn't know. So I don't have any influenza cases or RSV cases to report either, which is great, and that's not atypical. Oaknoll doesn't usually have a ton of cases. We have seen a smattering of influenza A. I don't remember seeing any influenza B in the community, and then we've had very few cases of RSV, but it is out there. So you just want to be mindful of that and take precautions. I've talked about hand washing and vaccination being like the 2 biggest things that we can do. And you will see stories on the news that vaccination rates are down across the country. People just are experiencing a lot of vaccine fatigue, I think, and there are a lot of symptoms some people have with the vaccines, and then they end up getting COVID anyway, so they have symptoms twice, and people are just less willing to do that. We are still encouraging vaccines. We would make it available to anybody who wanted one. Our resident population is highly vaccinated. Thank you all for that. It makes sleeping a lot easier for me. But I will say this, just looking at our Oaknoll data over the past 4 years, I cannot say with any degree of certainty that the people who were vaccinated were less infected than the people who were not vaccinated. We all got sick. A large number of people have had COVID at least once and maybe twice. What I can say is that I think we only had 2 people hospitalized. And I will say I do think that's from the vaccines. And so less severity of illness, less complications, and less hospitalizations, and certainly less deaths. So I am a huge vaccine advocate, as you all well know, and we'll continue to advocate for vaccines, but it's really hard to get it into the double digits of percentages for staff. So I think right now Oaknoll's at about 30%. That is spectacular compared to the 5% across the country of staff working in nursing homes. If you have any great ideas on how to encourage vaccine acceptance, I would be willing to hear that, but we're not going to mandate it again. None of us felt good about that, except that we were in a crisis and we needed to do it. And we know how to mitigate COVID now. And so I didn't feel right about mandating that vaccine when even the government won't do it. So always on my mind, COVID be my middle name for the rest of my life probably, but I don't want to talk about it all the time. So have a great week. I don't know if there's anything fun coming up. If you haven't made it to our dementia experience, our Oaknoll dementia experience is available. Reach out to Cam Atwater. That is what we feel like you might experience if you're living with dementia. I recommend it for family members of people who have lived with dementia or who are living currently with dementia, and I recommend it for friends and neighbors of people who are living with dementia. But it is not recommended for someone who is living with dementia currently, and you can imagine we don't want to escalate their symptoms by replicating them with the devices, with the gear that you wear. So I would love to have people come through. I was able to do it with Cam and Lindsay this week with University of Iowa Hospitals and Clinics geriatric physicians. Thanks to our medical director, Nick Butler, he helped me coordinate getting all of them over here. And that was really an incredible experience to be teaching the doctors something new about dementia and the experience of dementia. I think it was really well received. There are a lot of your doctors that were here, and then that was not on accident, that was on purpose. And so now they will talk about sending us geriatric residents and family medicine residents. And so we've also had some pharmacologists here. And so we're really trying to get out into the community. Next week, we'll have College of Nursing faculty here and Kirkwood nursing faculty here. So things are going well with the simulation. So if you have family who are interested, please have them reach out to Cam or Lindsay, Reed, or I, and we can make that happen. Stay tuned for details on other things we have coming up, but I don't want to let the cat out of the bag just yet. So that'll make you tune in and watch in 2 weeks. I'll see you then. Have a good week.